The universe trembled as the ominous presence of Zeno, the Omni-King, loomed over the cosmos. His childlike demeanor belied the terrifying power he wielded, a force capable of erasing entire realities with a mere whim. Unbeknownst to the Z fighters, their world had drawn his ire, and the consequences would be catastrophic. On Earth, the remnants of the once mighty warrior race stood vigilant. Gohan, now a seasoned fighter and scholar, trained relentlessly in the mountains, his latent potential simmering beneath the surface. His father, Goku, and Vegeta were off-world, seeking new challenges, leaving Earth's defense in the hands of its remaining protectors. Among them was Trunks, the time-traveling hybrid who had already faced apocalyptic threats in his fractured timeline. His sword gleamed under the setting sun as he sparred with Piccolo, their movements a blur of precision and power. The sky darkened unnaturally, a void spreading like ink across the horizon. The air grew heavy, oppressive, as if the planet itself recoiled in dread. Then, without warning, Zeno appeared, floating above the planet with his attendants. His blank eyes surveyed the world below, and with a bored flick of his wrist, he uttered a single, devastating command: delete. Reality itself warped. Entire cities vanished in an instant, reduced to nothingness. The Z fighters barely had time to react before the wave of annihilation surged toward them. Trunks, sensing the imminent doom, lunged forward, his body igniting in a fiery aura of Super Saiyan Blue. "We have to stop this," he roared, channeling every ounce of his energy into a desperate barrier. The others followed suit. Gohan unleashed his ultimate form, his muscles swelling with power, while Piccolo fused his energy with theirs, reinforcing the shield. For a fleeting moment, it seemed they might hold. But Zeno's power was absolute. The barrier shattered like glass, and the wave of destruction engulfed them. Trunks screamed as his body began to dissolve, his sword clattering to the ground, lifeless. His last thought was of the future he had fought so hard to protect, now lost. Gohan, shielded by a last-ditch effort from Piccolo, watched in horror as his allies disintegrated before him. The Namekian's final words were a grim warning: survive. Avenge us. As the dust settled, Gohan stood alone amidst the ruins of a dead world. His fists clenched, his body trembling with grief and rage. The once bright scholar was now the last hope, his mind racing for a way to undo the unimaginable. But first, he had to survive. Zeno's attendants, the Grand Priest and his angels, observed with detached curiosity. Interesting, the Grand Priest mused. This one still lives. Gohan's eyes burned with determination. He wouldn't fall. Not here. Not yet. His body surged with energy, his aura erupting in a blinding flare as he tapped into power beyond anything he'd ever harnessed. The ground beneath him cracked, the air sizzling with raw might. He glared at the celestial beings above. "You took everything from me," he growled. "Now I'll make you pay." The Grand Priest smirked. "A bold declaration. Let us see if you can back it up." With a snap of his fingers, a squadron of elite warriors materialized, divine enforcers, each wielding power surpassing even the gods of destruction. Gohan didn't hesitate. He lunged, his fist connecting with the first warrior's jaw, sending him spiraling through the air. The others retaliated, their movements flawless, their strikes precise. Gohan weaved between them, his instincts honed by years of battle. One warrior swung a blade of pure energy, but Gohan countered with a Ki blast, knocking it aside. Another lunged with a spear of light, only for Gohan to catch it mid-thrust and snap it in half. His muscles burned, his breath came ragged, but he refused to yield. With a roar, he unleashed a Masenko, the golden beam tearing through 3 attackers at once. Yet for every foe he felled, 2 more took their place. The Grand Priest watched, amused. "You fight well, mortal. But you cannot win." Gohan knew he was right. But winning wasn't the goal, not yet. He needed time. A plan. And if he had to carve his way through heaven itself to get it, so be it. His body surged once more, his hair flickering between black and gold as he pushed beyond his limits. The final battle for existence had begun. The aftermath of Zeno's wrath was a universe reduced to silence. The once vibrant Earth was now a fractured wasteland, its skies choked with dust and the echoes of fallen warriors. Trunks' lifeless body lay crumpled near the ruins of Capsule Corp, his sword shattered, his defiance extinguished. Gohan, the last Saiyan standing, knelt beside him, his fists trembling with grief and rage. "This isn't over," he muttered, his voice raw. "Not while I'm still breathing." Suddenly, the ground quaked as a familiar energy surged, a twisted, corrupted version of what Gohan once knew. Emerging from a rift in reality was none other than future Mai, her eyes glowing an unnatural violet, her body crackling with energy not her own. "Mai?" Gohan gasped, rising to his feet. But the woman who had fought beside Trunks now smirked, her voice dripping with malice. "Oh, Gohan, you always were too trusting." She lunged, her movements unnaturally fast, a dagger of crystalline energy forming in her hand. Gohan barely dodged, the blade grazing his cheek. "What did they do to you?" he demanded, channeling his ki into his fists. Ma didn't answer. Instead, she flickered like a mirage, reappearing behind him. Gohan spun, blocking her strike with a forearm, but the force sent him skidding backward. "You're not just fighting me," she taunted. "You're fighting him." The sky darkened as a colossal figure descended, a monstrous fusion of Android 17 and Cell, their DNA twisted by Zeno's residual power. Its wings shimmered with unstable energy, and its voice was a chorus of screams. "Gohan," it hissed, "how fitting that you'll die like your father, alone." Gohan's mind raced. Alone, against two enhanced foes, in a crumbling world. But then, a flicker of hope, a distant key signature, weak but familiar. Piccolo. The Namekian was alive, barely, buried under rubble miles away. Gohan reached out with his mind, their decades of training allowing a silent plea. "I need you." Ma attacked again, her dagger aimed for his heart. Gohan sidestepped, seizing her wrist and twisting until the weapon clattered to the ground. "I don't want to hurt you," he growled. She laughed, her free hand suddenly morphing into a cannon, energy gathering at its tip. Too bad. The blast erupted, but Gohan vanished, reappearing above her with a crushing axe kick. She crumpled, but the fused abomination intercepted, catching Gohan midair and hurling him into a derelict skyscraper. Concrete shattered as Gohan pushed through the pain, emerging just as Piccolo's ragged form landed beside him. "Took you long enough," the Namekian grunted, his arm regenerating slowly. "You look terrible," Gohan shot back, grinning despite it all. Together, they faced the monstrosity. Piccolo fired a Hellzone grenade, the orbs boxing the creature in, while Gohan charged a Kamehameha. But the fusion absorbed the attack, its body swelling with stolen power. "Pathetic," it sneered, before retaliating with a beam that split the earth beneath them. Gohan and Piccolo barely avoided being swallowed by the fissure. "We can't overpower it," Piccolo panted. "Then we outthink it," Gohan replied. He remembered Trunks' sacrifice, his unyielding will. "Think like him. Distract it." "I have an idea." Piccolo nodded, launching himself at the creature with a flurry of strikes, buying time. Gohan closed his eyes, reaching deeper than ever before. His hair flickered between black and gold, his power unstable but growing. "Ultimate isn't enough. I need more." Then, a surge, a breakthrough. His aura erupted in a blinding silver hue, his muscles taut with refined power. "Ha!" The shockwave sent debris flying. The fusion paused, sensing the shift. "Interesting," it mused. "But futile." Gohan blurred forward, his fist connecting with the creature's jaw, sending it reeling. Piccolo capitalized, wrapping it in a crushing grip. "Now." Gohan unleashed a point-blank Masenko, the beam piercing through the fusion's chest. It screamed, its form unraveling, until Mai, still ensnared by whatever force controlled her, intercepted the blast, her body disintegrating. "No," Gohan cried, but it was too late. As the dust settled, the fusion lay defeated, but the cost was unbearable. Mai was gone. Trunks was gone. And Zeno's laughter echoed across the void, a reminder that this was only the beginning. Gohan clenched his fists, his silver aura flickering. "We're not done yet," he vowed. Somewhere in the multiverse, a new threat stirred, one far older than Zeno. And it was hungry. The air was thick with the scent of burning earth, the sky a sickly violet as the remnants of shattered cities smoldered in the distance. Goku and Vegeta stood side by side, their breaths ragged, their bodies battered from the relentless onslaught of the Omni King's enforcers. Trunks' lifeless body lay at their feet, his sword broken, his eyes still wide with shock. The sight of him sent a searing pain through Goku's chest, but there was no time to mourn. Not yet. Across the battlefield, Zeno's twin figures hovered, their childlike giggles twisting into something monstrous as they raised their hands. "This game is boring now," the left Zeno chirped. "Let's erase everything and start over." The right Zeno clapped eagerly. Goku's blood ran cold. He had seen this before, the casual flick of a wrist, the utter annihilation of entire universes. But this time, there was no tournament of power. No rules. No hope of resurrection. Just as the Zenith's fingers twitched, a blinding streak of energy shot between them. Gohan, his aura flaring like a supernova, landed in front of his father, his muscles straining under the weight of his ultimate form. "Stop," he roared, his voice cracking with desperation. The Zenus paused, tilting their heads in curiosity. Gohan's mind raced. He had studied the Omni Kings, their whims, their childish cruelty. If brute force wouldn't work, maybe psychology would. "You don't want to destroy us yet," he said, forcing his voice steady. "We can make this fun again. A real challenge." The Zenus exchanged glances. "How?" the right one asked, pouting. Gohan's heart pounded. This was a gamble. A game. One last fight. "If we win, you spare this universe. If you win." He swallowed hard. "You erase us all." Silence. Then, laughter, high-pitched, gleeful. "Deal." The left Zeno squealed. "But you have to fight him." The ground trembled. A shadow loomed behind the Zenus, and from the void stepped a figure clad in obsidian armor, his eyes glowing crimson. Goku's stomach dropped. Frieza? But it wasn't Frieza. The armor melted away, revealing a face twisted with malice. Future Zamasu. "You thought me gone?" He sneered, his voice layered with the Zenus power. "The Omni Kings restored me. Made me their champion." Vegeta snarled. "This is your plan, Gohan? Fight a lunatic with godly backup?" Gohan didn't answer. His fists clenched. This was worse than he'd imagined. Zamasu was immortal before, but now? With the Zenus authority? He was unstoppable. The battle erupted without warning. Zamasu moved like lightning, his strikes infused with the raw power of creation and destruction. Goku and Vegeta lunged, their Super Saiyan blue auras flaring, but every punch, every energy blast, Zamasu absorbed or deflected with a laugh. "Fools! You cannot harm what the gods have blessed." Gohan dodged a razor-sharp keyblade, his mind racing. There had to be a weakness. Then he saw it, the slightest flicker in Zamasu's aura when he attacked, a split-second delay. The Zenus power was immense, but Zamasu's body was still mortal. He couldn't fully contain it. "Dad! Vegeta!" Gohan shouted. "We need to overload him. Hit him with everything at once." Goku nodded, understanding flashing in his eyes. He clasped Vegeta's hand. "On 3. Zamasu charged, his laughter echoing like thunder. "You still don't. Now." A Kamehameha. A final flash. A father-son Kamehameha. The combined energy tore through the battlefield, the force of it cracking the earth beneath them. Zamasu's body convulsed, his scream piercing the chaos as his form began to fracture. The Zenus gasped. "No fair." They whined. But then, silence. The smoke cleared. Zamasu stood, his body flickering like a dying flame, his face twisted in agony. "I cannot be." His form dissolved, leaving only a fading scream. The Zenus pouted. "You cheated," the left one muttered. Gohan stepped forward, his body trembling. "We won. You promised." For a moment, the universe held its breath. Then the Zenus giggled. "Fine. But next time, we won't play nice." With a wave of their hands, they vanished, leaving behind a broken world, and the faintest glimmer of hope. Goku collapsed to his knees, his energy spent. Vegeta glared at the sky. "This isn't over." Gohan looked at Trunks' body, then at the horizon. No, it wasn't. But for now, they lived. And that meant they could fight another day. The air crackled with tension as the remnants of the Z-fighters faced the unimaginable power of Zeno, the Omni King. The once vibrant Earth now lay in ruins, its cities reduced to smoldering craters, its skies choked with ash. Trunks' lifeless body lay sprawled on the broken ground, a grim reminder of the stakes. Gohan, his body battered but his spirit unbroken, clenched his fists, his Saiyan blood boiling with rage and grief. "You'll pay for this," he growled, his voice trembling with fury. Zeno, floating serenely above the devastation, tilted his head with childlike curiosity. "Pay? But I don't understand money," he giggled, his innocent tone contrasting horrifically with the carnage around him. Without warning, he raised a tiny hand, and a sphere of unfathomable energy formed above his palm. Gohan's instinct screamed at him to move, and he barely dodged as the blast obliterated the ground where he'd stood, sending shockwaves that rattled his bones. Vegeta, his armor shattered and his body bleeding, lunged at Zeno with a roar. "You arrogant little." He unleashed a flurry of punches, each strike infused with his remaining strength, but Zeno merely blinked, and Vegeta's fists passed harmlessly through him as if he were a ghost. Before Vegeta could react, Zeno flicked his wrist, and the Saiyan Prince was sent crashing into a mountainside, the impact reducing the rock to dust. Goku, his Ultra Instinct form flickering from exhaustion, gritted his teeth. "We can't hit him like this," he muttered. "We need a new plan." His eyes darted to Gohan, who was panting heavily but still standing. "Gohan, remember what Whis taught us, about energy synchronization." Gohan's eyes widened in realization. If they couldn't overpower Zeno alone, maybe together. Nodding, Gohan raised his hands, his aura flaring violently as he tapped into his ultimate potential. Goku mirrored the motion, their energies intertwining in a brilliant spiral of blue and gold. Zeno watched, intrigued, as the father and son's power merged, creating a shockwave that pushed back the debris around them. "Now," Goku shouted, and in unison, they unleashed a colossal Kamehameha, the beam surging toward Zeno with enough force to split the planet. Zeno's eyes sparkled with delight. "Ooh, pretty." He extended both hands, and the beam struck, but instead of exploding, it froze mid-air, suspended by his will. With a giggle, he twisted his fingers, and the energy reversed course, hurtling back at Goku and Gohan. Desperation fueled their reflexes as they dodged, but the backlash sent them skidding across the battlefield, their bodies screaming in protest. Vegeta, hauling himself from the rubble, spat out blood. "Damn it. We're not done yet." His pride burned hotter than his injuries as he forced himself upright. "Kakarot. Distract him." Goku, understanding instantly, blurred into motion, weaving around Zeno with afterimages, buying precious seconds. Vegeta closed his eyes, reaching deep into the well of his Saiyan heritage. His aura erupted in a storm of crimson, his muscles bulging as he ascended beyond Super Saiyan Blue. "This is it. The power of destruction." Zeno's smile faltered as Vegeta's energy spiked. The prince lunged, his fist wreathed in a swirling vortex of Hakai energy. This time, when he struck, Zeno's invincibility wavered, the divine technique making contact. A crackle of energy erupted as Zeno staggered back, his expression shifting to surprise. "Huh? That tickled," he chirped, before retaliating with a wave of his hand. Space itself warped, and Vegeta was engulfed in a sphere of crushing gravity, his body contorting under the pressure. Gohan, seeing his allies fall one by one, felt something inside him snap. His vision tinted red as memories of Trunks, of his family, of everything he'd lost surged through him. His hair spiked wildly, his aura igniting in a blinding white inferno. "Enough," he bellowed, his voice shaking the earth. Power unlike anything he'd ever felt coursed through him, his body radiating raw, untamed energy. Zeno's eyes widened. "Oh. New game." He clapped his hands, and the sky split open, raining down countless energy spears. Gohan moved like lightning, weaving through the barrage, his fists shattering each projectile before they could land. With a final leap, he closed the distance, his fist slamming into Zeno's chest with a thunderous impact. For the first time, Zeno was sent flying, his small form crashing through the ruins. Silence hung for a heartbeat, then Zeno floated up, his clothes slightly ruffled. "That was fun," he giggled. "But now it's my turn." His fingers twitched, and the world itself seemed to shudder. Reality distorted as an all-consuming void spread from his fingertips, erasing everything in its path. Gohan braced himself, knowing this was the end, but then, a hand gripped his shoulder. Goku, his body barely holding together, stood beside him. "We do this together," he said, his voice steady. Vegeta, battered but unbroken, limped to Gohan's other side. "Don't get cocky, brat. This is a Saiyan's fight." The three raised their hands, their combined energies flaring in defiance. The void met their light in a cataclysmic clash, the force of it tearing the sky apart. The world held its breath, and then, darkness swallowed everything. The battlefield was a wasteland of shattered earth and swirling energy, the sky choked with dust and the lingering echoes of destruction. The air itself trembled under the oppressive weight of the Omni King's power. Zeno, the all-powerful ruler of the multiverse, hovered above the ruins of Earth, his blank eyes devoid of mercy. Below him, Goku, Vegeta, and Gohan stood battered but unbroken, their bodies pushed beyond limits they'd never imagined. Trunks' lifeless form lay nearby, a grim reminder of the stakes. Goku's fists clenched, his muscles screaming in protest as he forced himself upright. "We can't let Trunks' sacrifice be for nothing," he growled, his voice raw with exhaustion and rage. Beside him, Vegeta wiped blood from his lip, his aura flickering like a dying flame. "TCH. You always state the obvious, Kakarot. But this time, we finish it." Gohan, his gi torn and his body trembling, felt something awaken deep within, an unshakable resolve. "We have to push further. Beyond Super Saiyan, beyond Ultra Instinct. Or we lose everything." With a shared nod, the trio launched themselves at Zeno, their movements a blur of desperation and fury. Goku's fists crackled with energy as he struck first, his punches landing with earth-shattering force, but Zeno merely tilted his head, unharmed. Vegeta flanked from the side, his Gallic gun erupting in a violet torrent, only to dissipate against Zeno's palm. Pathetic, the Omni King murmured, his voice chillingly serene. With a flick of his wrist, he sent Vegeta crashing into the ground, bones snapping. Gohan screamed, his body igniting in a golden white blaze. He surged forward, his strikes faster than thought, each blow carrying the weight of his grief, his love for his family, his fury at the injustice of it all. For a moment, Zeno's expression shifted, curiosity. You are different, he mused, before retaliating with a wave of annihilation. Gohan barely dodged, his skin searing from the near miss. Goku, seeing his son push beyond, felt something click. His body moved without thought, his fists striking with perfect precision, ultra instinct, mastered at last. He weaved through Zeno's attacks, landing hits that finally made the god stagger. Now, Vegeta, Goku roared. From below, Vegeta erupted in a final burst of power, his royal blue aura merging with Goku's silver light. Their combined Kamehameha and final flash spiraled together, a blinding helix of destruction. Zeno raised his hands, but for the first time, his eyes widened, doubt. The beam struck, engulfing him in a cataclysmic explosion that split the sky. The shockwave rippled across the universe, stars flickering out in its wake. When the light faded, Zeno stood. But his form wavered, cracks spreading across his being. Impossible, he whispered, before dissolving into nothingness. Silence. Then, the weight of their victory crashed down. Goku collapsed, his body spent. Vegeta, barely conscious, smirked. About damn time. Gohan knelt beside Trunks, tears streaming down his face. But then, a pulse of energy. The Dragon Balls, scattered in the chaos, glowed. Shenrong's voice echoed, "Your wish has been granted." Trunks gasped awake, his wounds vanishing. The Earth, the universe, it was all being restored. But something was different. The hierarchy of the gods had shifted. Without Zeno, balance had to be reforged. Whis appeared, his usual calm replaced with solemnity. You've done what no one thought possible. But power like this, it demands responsibility. Goku, ever the optimist, grinned weakly. Guess we've got some work to do. Vegeta scoffed, but there was pride in his eyes. Gohan helped Trunks up, the future now unwritten. The battle was over, but their legacy, reshaping the cosmos, had only just begun.